One of the next speakers is a group that is doing the marketing for the Tampa Bay Partnership area, and we'll get an idea of the regional approach to economic development. And our speaker is Jill Pearson, who's a senior account executive with ChappellRoberts. A seasoned agency veteran, Jill passionately believes that producing a great work for clients begins with sound strategic thinking. Over the years, she's had the good fortune to work for a number of clients, including Public Supermarkets, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, AT&T Wireless, Lowry Park Zoo, and of course, the Tampa Bay Partnership. Jill Pearson.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you for having us here today. I just wanted to kind of reiterate why I'm here. So again, my name is Jill Pearson. I'm an account executive with ChappellRoberts. We have been a long-time agency partner of the Tampa Bay Partnership. We have been working with them on a number of initiatives for several years, and really in the past year and a half is what I'm going to spend some time talking about today. Most of you are very familiar with the Tampa Bay Partnership, what they stand for, what they're doing. They've been a long time in our community. But just to start this session, I sort of wanted to reiterate for all of you what their mission is. It's really three key areas. One is to focus on marketing efforts to market this region both nationally and internationally. It's no small feat. Secondly, to conduct the regional research that we need to make sure that we're keeping up with what's going on in this region in order to market it. And thirdly, to coordinate efforts to influence business, government issues that impact our economic growth and development, which is why everyone has such a vested interest and is here today. So our challenge and a little bit of our background was really to position the Tampa Bay region, not just Tampa Bay region, as a key location for those looking to either expand or relocate their business here. Now, at the start of this process, we sat down with leaders with the Tampa Bay Partnership, with our own leadership team, key stakeholders, and really wanted to define what would success look like for us. If we were able to do this, what would it look like? What we learned, along with what our own sort of agendas were that we were envisioning success to look like, was that we had some issues with the overall sort of perception of the partnership. People knew the partnership, they knew they had their irons in a lot of fires and were really active in the region, but they weren't exactly sure with what. So it became abundantly clear for us that we needed to take some time and look at all of those initiatives, make sure they were all tying back to those three things that were in the mission statement, and specifically for us, were they helping us to market the region? So with that, this became our mantra for the past year and a half. Focus, focus, focus. If you can get focused, internally and externally, we'll be able to do what we need to do. We will be able to market this region successfully and have all of our key stakeholders understand what that means. We also needed to be very, very clear that we weren't looking to brand the region. We were looking to market the region. They're two very distinctive things. And I think with what's been going on in the state, specifically in Orlando, there was some confusion with some of our stakeholders as to what exactly we were going to do, where we were going to focus our efforts. So to reiterate, our goal was to market the region. One thing that I think we did very well at the start of this initiative was realize that there were a lot of people in this region that were a lot smarter than us. So we worked with leadership at the Tampa Bay Partnership to put together a marketing council. Essentially about 50 to 60 of the organizations, the CMOs, those in the marketing groups at some of the biggest companies in Tampa Bay, we sort of raised our hand and said, hey, here's what we're doing. You want to join us? You want to help? And from our first kickoff meeting about a year and a half ago, we filled the conference room with some of the greatest minds in Tampa Bay. So knowing that we had our own thoughts and our own agenda and the partnership, we were working very closely with them. This allowed us to really have representation from each of our counties, an 8-county region, to also make sure their voices were at the table and that we were understanding what everybody else was thinking in terms of how to best market the region. Because as you know, there are areas of strength within each of our counties. And we've heard a lot today about this idea of we've really got to collaborate if we're going to be successful. That was very true with the way we started this initiative as well. So I'm going to take you through sort of a roadmap, if you will, of how this all got started. As you know, all great marketing is rooted in research. This was no different. Back in 2011, the Tampa Bay Partnership embarked on a huge initiative with SRI International. The goal of that was to identify, really look at the Tampa Bay area and identify where were our key areas of growth going to be. They looked industry-wide across all of the counties and were able to come up with really what they felt were the 4 key industry sectors that we could see the most growth in. Those were applied medicine and human performance, high-tech electronics and instruments, business, financial, and data services, and then marine and environmental activities. Of those 4, the decision was then made to look at applied medicine and human performance as being the first one that we were going to focus on. And this was identified as a top sort of goal sector because of job growth, because it would be a great way for us to attract industry. There were a number of sort of reasons why that decision was made to focus on that one area. This was all folded into the Tampa Bay Partnership's regional business plan, which I'm sure everyone in this room is very well versed on. From there, take us to fast forward to 2013, and we went ahead and embarked on another research project with a group, MEG Research, to do a perception study with the decision makers in this particular industry. So these were C-suite folks who were sitting in a position to be able to, at some point, if they needed to expand or relocate their business, these were the people that could make those decisions. So we wanted to ask, and there were hundreds of them, really specific questions, not just about Tampa Bay, but about their perceptions of Tampa Bay in a consideration set with some other key competitive markets for us, like Boston and other places across the country. We really needed to get a sense of, we know what we feel our strengths are, but what does everyone else think our strengths are? So from there, we were able to get a handle on some really, really specific audience insights that would help sort of direct us to what we needed to do in terms of our marketing strategy. A key learning was people know what they know about Florida. It's beautiful here. Sun shines almost every day here. It's 73 degrees. If you put another palm tree in your ad, I'm going to throw up. I mean, it was really crystal clear. Don't tell us what we already know. We know it's great there. We know you have a great tax incentives. Don't waste your real estate telling us that. We've also done a lot of research and try to keep up with what site selectors are telling us. This quote, I think, is really critical and helped us formulate where we were going to go. Your best-selling messages are your successes within your market. This attracts attention and gives recognition that other companies are investing in your region. Tell us who's already there. They can be peers. They can even be competitors. We want to know that they're there, they're having success, they're not having challenges hiring, recruiting, that this message started to really bubble up over and over again, and we thought, all right, well, this is kind of interesting. So while we were focusing initially on how do we market the Tampa Bay region outside, it gave us a moment of pause, and we thought, gosh, a part of this whole initiative needs to also be, how are we marketing Tampa Bay to Tampa Bay? You all know it. You're all connected to people in other counties. You know where areas of strength are. You know where opportunities are and challenges are. But that didn't seem to be the case industry-wide. So we wanted to make sure that whatever we developed, we were going to also incorporate how we were going to communicate within our own market to then sell that market outside. So of the research that we did with all of these C-level decision makers in the applied medicine group, the top 4 decision-making factors are up on this slide. I'm only going to read you the first one, and here's why. The researcher told us, normally when you get insights back and you ask people, well, what are your top 3 decision-making factors for whatever it might be? They're usually pretty close together. Number 1 was quality and makeup of workforce. It was so miles ahead of all the other factors. He'd never seen anything like it. So right out of the gate, we knew we had a big perception problem with our workforce. Pro-business, as I said, cost of doing business, quality of life. People already knew that about Tampa Bay. Where we had a gap was that we had to make them understand that our workforce wasn't what they thought. You know, interestingly, it's hard to do a line when I'm holding a microphone, but this was the perception of the workforce in, say, a city like Boston. Ivy League universities, stayed, successful. Here's where they thought we were. We all know that's not where we are, but our job was to try to find somewhere in the middle here and begin to tell that story. This is from our current chair of the Tampa Bay Partnership, Barry Alpert. I chose this quote because of his first 4 words, from a quality workforce to first-rate assets. I won't read the whole quote, but the more and more that we started to talk to people about why they did business in Tampa Bay, what they loved about doing business in Tampa Bay, workforce came up over and over again. So we knew this was a perception issue and not a factual issue, which would make it easier for us to work with. So our key was start with telling people what they don't know about Tampa Bay. Pinellas County, you know these logos, you know these companies. There are huge players here doing huge work here. People need to know this story. We also have, I think, a difference from cities like a Boston, where we have the added benefit of working with educational institutions. We have over 80 post-secondary institutions in the Tampa Bay market. We're a young enough city that our industry and our educational folks are talking to each other. They're saying, you know what, we need more grads who can do coding. We need more grads with STEM degrees. What can we do to help? So we're young and we're nimble and we have this kind of agility that's a real benefit to our area. And again, that's just part of the story that people need to know. Just some of the things we've already talked about. Pinellas is doing a lot of great stuff. You're the 2nd largest base of manufacturing employment in Florida. It's a huge, significant part of your story. Your industry clusters within Pinellas County are really diverse. Aviation, aerospace, defense, cutting-edge medical technologies. There's a lot of stuff going on here that's creating a lot of buzz, and people need to know that story both here and outside the region. Take a look at this video.
One of the reasons why this is a world-class destination for potential medical device manufacturing is one, the employee base. We definitely need very quality employees to produce quality product. The infrastructure itself is actually second to none. You have access to an international airport, rail, interstate system, as well as ports from an ocean perspective. So the footprint is here to make sure that a company can be successful.
The tax structure here is one of the more favorable ones in the country, and has gotten even more favorable just recently with the elimination of the sales tax on manufacturing equipment, which is a big advantage to someone who's investing.
It's a great area for recruiting. So we get, most of our talent is local. We don't have the need to relocate people from elsewhere.
We have excellent educational institutions locally. We've been able to source most of our engineers locally, and that's some of our more specialized or hard to fill positions, and we've been able to get them right here in the Tampa Bay area.
I think we are able to find good candidates. We're able to find technically qualified individuals. We've got good schools here in the area, good schools in Florida throughout.
We hire all the way from manufacturing production personnel all the way up through senior executive leadership. So it's really a diverse portfolio of an employee that we're looking for. And the Tampa Bay market provides us soup to nuts, the whole thing.
So knowing that we had to tackle the issue of workforce, that was the gap we needed to close. These were the 5 ways that we heard from these folks of how they wanted to be reached, because that's really important. You identify your audience, you identify what they need to hear, but you also want to hit them where they are. So while these are all sort of, it's a 5 list, it's really the first one to me was critical. Those who reached out to us directly. What was interesting about that is they really didn't mind who it was that was reaching out to them. If it was state and local officials, site selectors, those of you in the economic development groups, they don't care. They just want someone to pick up the phone and call them directly or shoot them a note directly and tell them what's going on. Why should I be in your consideration set? So knowing this really kind of allowed us to, again, think about, okay, well, if they want to hear about workforce and they want to hear about what's going on in Tampa Bay, and it seems like they want to hear from everybody, how can we do that? How can we rally the troops and do that? With this, we are all Tampa Bay. I'm sure, is everybody aware of this hashtag? Who has used this hashtag in this room? I'm so sad right now. Well, we're going to change that. We're going to change that by the end of this. Everyone will be doing it by the end of the presentation. So what we developed was this sort of idea of, we're 8 counties, and this is very much, I think, echoing the sentiment that we've already heard in this room today. We can't do it in a silo. We can't do it on a county-by-county basis. We're all here, and when we all grow together. So again, knowing what our message was, workforce, knowing that we wanted to look at this from a direct campaign perspective, we went ahead and started kind of crafting what was our toolbox going to look like. So your toolbox is basically all of the ways, the multiple platforms through which you're going to reach your audiences. Starting with the Tampa Bay Partnership website. At one point in time, the Tampa Bay Partnership had 8 websites, one for each of their initiatives. It helped them at the time to sort of segment how they were allotting their resources. What it didn't do was give people one place to go to find out everything they needed to know about Tampa Bay. So after a lengthy process and a lot of content culling, they were able to, over a year ago, launch their new website, tampabay.org. And you can see from this slide, the results speak for themselves. We saw 511% increase in sessions, well over 450% increase in page views. Right away, people were delighted that they had one spot to go to and could get any question answered that they wanted to know about Tampa Bay. It spoke for itself. In addition to the website, we also did a lot of traditional advertising. You know, print is not dead. It's certainly not dead. The first image there of the map of Tampa Bay, it says, this is a map of Tampa Bay. Your company should be on it. That was really our first ad that we did for this campaign, and it ran locally, it ran nationally in the state of Florida. Probably our best success story with this ad was we worked with all of our folks on the Marketing Council and all of our EDO partners on a very robust co-op plan. So what that allowed us to do was buy advertising together as a group and really maximize, get the most bang for our buck, so to speak. This ad ran in the United Airlines Hemispheres magazine. Last summer, over the course of 1 month, 12 million people saw it. 12 million people took that magazine with them off the plane and got to learn a little bit about Tampa Bay. It was a Tampa Bay focused issue, so we also had the opportunity for some advertorial support and things like that. So again, taking a traditional approach, we were able to sort of hit some of those key audience members where they were. I think all of you have this We Are All Tampa Bay book sitting on your table today. This was a new project with the partnership this year, kind of taking a twist on how do we sell some of the data story about Tampa Bay and not make someone have to look at a spreadsheet. Again, let's tell them a story. Tell me who's here and doing great things here. So hopefully you've all had a chance to look through that while you've been sitting at your table enjoying the presentations. In addition to the traditional approach, we also went very digital, particularly with the AMHP crowd. We learned that they're online. A lot of the days of flipping through a trade pub for them were gone. So we took advantage of a lot of digital ads, very strategically placed, as well as sort of a new approach with hitting them at conferences, doing geo-targeting to figure out where they were, and then making sure that we hit them with, of course, our #1 message, which is workforce. So as I said and alluded to with this book, we started to realize the value of storytelling with this overall marketing plan for the region. Who better to tell the story of Tampa Bay than you? You're here, You work here, presumably you live here. Also, presumably you like it here or you wouldn't be here. So you're exactly the type of people that we felt were going to tell the story better than anybody. With this approach, we also understood that there are people who are really comfortable in the digital realm, and those of us who still remember how to dial a phone like this. They don't want a Twitter hashtag. They don't want to mess with all that. So we tried to come up with a way that we could engage everybody in the market in a way that they felt comfortable.
It's this wonderful balance of the benefits of a big city, the strength of industry, the talented workforce, the strong economic base, but a wonderfully balanced lifestyle. I mean, it's really hard to come home from work and see palm trees and water and have a bad day.
She's right. That's Catherine Rush. She's with HSN, also a valuable member of our marketing committee. So this is an example of a brand ambassador video. We have, I believe, over 100 in the bank already of people that have agreed to just come and sit down and let us tape you, telling us why you're here, why you love Tampa Bay. Really quick and really easy to do, very powerful. All of our ambassadors are across a multitude of industries, from every county, so very well represented and widely so. So we actually worked to formalize this program. How could we take our brand ambassadors, all of you who are invested and passionate about Tampa Bay, and figure out a way to really harness all that power? So we came up with this idea of We Are All Tampa Bay and launching a digital ambassador program. This was launched last year at the annual meeting for the Tampa Bay Partnership. Very, very quickly, by the end of last week, actually, we have almost 600 digital ambassadors. What this is we have a program called Social Toaster. And what it does is basically kind of customizes messages and news as we find out exciting things about Tampa Bay. So we have a huge businesses opening in Pinellas County. We want to share that news out. We can share it out. Give us an hour, we'll craft the message. We'll customize it for everybody that signs up. You use the hashtag We Are All Tampa Bay, and then we're able to track it. And we're able to track where those messages are going, who's looking at them, if they're sharing them. And you can see from some of these stats, if you have better eyesight than me, our share rate's almost 50%, which isn't the most kind of startling stat here to me. The third one down is what gets me. We've had 4.4 million impressions from this campaign. 4.4 million people are getting news about Tampa Bay. We have actually had people call and say, we've seen this campaign, tell us more. So it is working, this notion of telling stories, telling people that things are happening here is working. Proof's in the pudding. This is another great quote from one of our Pinellas ambassadors, Amy McGuire, who's the VP of Government and Corporate Relations with All Children's. Tampa Bay offers high-quality health care across the entire region from nationally recognized children's and cancer care to hospitals training tomorrow's physicians. Tampa Bay is the place for healthcare expertise. We are staking our claim. They are telling that story. I'm guessing, even though the show of hands really got me upset a few minutes ago, that most of you are already brand ambassadors for Tampa Bay. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. So I would ask you, I would invite you, I'll use implore, I'm not too proud. Go to the Tampa Bay Partnership website, tampabay.org, and sign up. It takes 2 seconds to do it. You'll receive everything automated. It's very, very effortless. And once you do that, your voice will be part of our strategy. Your voice will be part of what's bringing people to Tampa Bay. You can attend events. The partnership has events all the time. We also imagine that you're already at a number of events totally unrelated to us. Talk about Tampa Bay. You're doing it anyway. We're just asking you to be a little more mindful of your voice and your role in the strategy. So again, using your voice to help us amplify. The future looks bright. We've heard some great things today about Pinellas. We've heard some things that are areas for opportunity, clearly challenges, not just in Pinellas, across the 8-county region for sure. But what we do know is that there's a lot of great things going on, and we're telling that story together. Tampa Bay consistently ranks high for job growth. Unemployment numbers look good. The startup community, we're constantly being voted a great place, very welcoming place for startups to come. And last week we were rated number 2 for craft beer. I mean, come on. Focus where it's good, people. So, you know, again, I think to sort of echo what Bill was saying earlier this morning, we're not going to do it if we focus in a silo. We have to stay connected. We have to be able to know where we have opportunity or where we have opportunity for challenges, someone else can help us. So this notion of we are all Tampa Bay, even more so for me today after listening to Bill, really hit home. Collaboration isn't just a buzzword. It's actually part of the strategy that's going to help the economic development of the Tampa Bay market. With that, that's my presentation today. Thank you so much. Everyone who invited us, Bill, Stacy, your whole team, we really appreciate it. This is my information. If you have questions, please feel free to connect with me, and also please get connected with the Tampa Bay Partnership. We would love to see all of you in the room participate on some level as an ambassador. Thank you.